John, IRD Racing here. Today, we're talking Air Force X carb hats and how it can benefit your blow-through program. So today, we want to go ahead and just point out some of the key features that our carb hat will give you. Efficiency is what allows an engine to work at its maximum performance. So while you guys are squeezing the lemons out of your setups and you're trying to make a crap load of power now, this has safety features. It has air delivery features that will help improve your blow-through program. Our patented Air Force X carb hat is actually made out of 4 pieces. It is made out of a 6061 billet aluminum. You have the 2 halves. You have this piece here that holds the blow-off disc. And you also have the dual seal connector that is bolted in an O-ring recess and has a tight seal to ensure that you have no boost leaks. Some people would say, okay, it's just another carb hat. Well, there's a lot of thought that went into making this hat, and it took a while to make it right. By using CAD designs, airflow profiling, figuring out what it needed to see to create a nice clean balance of air under variances of boost pressure coming from whether it be a turbocharger or supercharger or whatever you got. Coming in that 5-inch inlet, everything changes on the top of a blow-through carburetor. So we had to really think about how we were going to deliver the air and what was going to be the best compromise without having something that was 16 inches tall. When we birthed the Air Force X carb hat, what it allowed us to do was it allowed us to knock down some of the intake air temps, which we'll get into in a second. It allowed for a cleaner look, more precision-made product, and that's what people want. We're proudly made here in the USA and in the state of Florida. So, you know, at the end of everything that we do here, we're trying to make sure that when we build a product for you guys, we're giving you something that's quality made here in the USA. So, let's go into some of the key features about this. Again, we talked about the dual seal connector, which is basically if you have like a race part solutions or a Vibrant Performance clamshell style with the wedding ring, and it's a 5-inch inlet, it actually slides over that, and then the clamshell has the groove that it follows to go ahead and put your pin through, and everything is good there. And why we chose to go with this design is because the O-ring seal only takes 5 inch-pounds to seal. Now, when you have boost running in here and the tube is mating up, it allows for a little bit of flex. That way, if your car isn't like full-blown tied, where it's not having some type of twist or doing something weird, you're not breaking the charge pipe well. It's coming up to your carb hat. We've seen that a lot. Some guys will argue the fact that the dual seal connected clamps aren't the best. I personally have never had a problem with them leaking boost or anything like that. And we find that they're very effective. Some guys like the V-band style, and that's fine too. V-band stuff, I would say more or less you want to really focus that, in my professional opinion, on exhaust side stuff that's turbocharger related. That makes your setup clean, smooth, and easy. And obviously, you know, when you're installing your force induction wastegates or whatever you have, you want to make sure that it's, you know, tried, true, clean, and effective. And if you want to see more about what we're talking about there's another past video on the force induction 60mm wastegates that you can see on our YouTube page. Back to the carb hat. 6061, 4-piece. It's got the dual seal inlet already in it. It's got a blow-off disc already incorporated with it. So let's say you're at the track. Let's say you're going down the track and all of a sudden your ignition box decides that it's going to go ahead and relight on a different cylinder. You had ignition drop out, it picks back up for whatever reason, and it lights a cylinder with the intake valves open, and you got all that pressure coming back up through the top of your carburetor, and it's ready to launch the whole top of your car off. Guess what? It's going to pop that open, and it's going to keep everything on there. So this right here will save you a lot of grief moving forward. That was one of the reasons why that we wanted to integrate this. Secondly, we have our monitoring ports here, and what we use these for is obviously we want to boost reference our fuel pressure from the carb hat. We also have a thermistor that we put in on our shop car to measure the temperature of the carb hat, which we'll get into here shortly. The next one, if we want to measure boost pressure from the actual compressor and then seeing what it is inside the engine, and we can do a comparison, we kind of know what that is. So for all you data junkies like I am, that's a good little thing for you to kind of monitor and see what's going on. And the fourth one is just for, you know, if you want to move that over or however you want to place it, and give you a little bit of options on the back of your carb hat, depending on how you want to do it. Now, this carb hat is designed for 4500 flange series carburetors. We are making our 4150 as we speak. Hopefully it will be out here in the next couple of months. This carb hat we understand is not for everybody. If you're a guy that's making 800 to 1,000 horsepower, probably not going to need this. If you're a serious racer and you take your program really serious and you're on E85 or alcohol and you're pushing the limits of your program, let's say, 12 to 1,500 horsepower range and higher. You're in a 4,500 platform. You're trying to get everything you can out of your engine and out of your turbocharger, and you're squeezing the lemon on the setup. This will be coming in handy for you, just in case if you have any hiccups in the tune-up and it decides it wants to backfire. Again, that's going to save you. This unbolts, you get another disc, slide it back in with the gasket, and then we just go ahead and use blue Loctite with the stainless steel hardware that we do to cinch that down, and away you go. Another thing that we do with this carb hat too is that we mated it up to the flange on our main body. So this goes from 4 outer corners from a true 360-degree radial style of O-ring that would be cinched down on top of the carb hat. So there's a little lip here. So when you bolt this down from the underside of the carb hat, it will pull the hat closer to the top. It rolls that O-ring into this groove here, as you see, and creates a nice tight seal. So unlike the traditional center stub mounted carburetor hats, which are tried and true and they work great. We've had them on our car before when we first started doing blow through way back when. It works great, but you get to a point where once you start really putting a lot of boost on it, you're putting a lot of stress on that 5/16 thread that goes inside your carburetor, and you got to pray to God that you don't have anything going wrong or any chassis twists and moving around. You just don't want to do that. So we just eliminated that altogether by just bolting it underneath the ears. For you nitrous guys, you can also use those 4-corner patterns to bolt your air pans on. So it's kind of multi-use. This hat was really one of the things that I saw a need in the market for because, everything is cast. And again, there are places for all of the style hats that you see. But when it comes to a high-performance hat, there was a need for it. And that's why this was developed. The thing that we could tell you on this hat right here is what you see on the outside and how the flow path is on the inside, it's two totally different things. It's a little deceiving from the exterior. The interior allows for your 5-inch pipe moving all that air. Let's say you got a gigantic pro charger or you got a twin turbo setup and you're trying to shove a bunch of air in there and you're making 50, 60 pounds of boost. You want that to take the least path of resistance into the top of your carburetor, and you want to make sure that that air is being delivered efficiently. Because when you deliver air efficiently and you can knock down intake air temps before they even get through the top of the carburetor, because obviously coming from your pro charger or your turbocharger, that air is going to be hot. This hat actually helps dissipate some of that heat. So from our blower, when we were running our car, we see about 300 degrees of temperature coming out of the compressor. By the time it comes up the pipe, which is 32 inches on our car, on the Nova, and it reaches the back of this carb hat right here, it's about 130, 140 degrees. Charge pipe size helps dissipate some of the heat. It also allows for a little bit broader volume of air coming from your compressor to the top of the carburetor. This will help dissipate the heat, as we said before, and then obviously as it passes through the carburetor, it's going to knock some intake air temps down when you're monitoring below the carburetor and seeing what's going on inside the manifold. We're actually a blow-through alcohol car, so we have seen 58 degrees on a normal 80-degree day out here in Florida, let's just say, November, December area. And that has a lot of benefit to it. When it gets colder out, the temperatures go down, but you have to be careful with that because obviously there's a certain temperature that alcohol likes to be, working with. You don't want it too cold because then it makes it very hard to light off. Air Force X hat, pros about it: billet construction, safety features, monitoring ports, bolts underneath your carburetor, flange, O-ring seal, clamshell style for the front, whether it's Race Part Solutions or Vibrant Performance, to put your charge pipe on there as far as everything goes and knocking intake air temperatures down. The cons, we don't see any. So let's show you on our stage 1 dual needle and seat 4500 carburetor what this looks like and kind of explain a few things to you. So once it's on, it bolts from underneath your flange here, there, back on all 4 corners with an O-ring seal on it, and it cinches down like this. And then you put all your stuff on the back, boost reference for your fuel pressure, thermistor if you're using one. Charge pipe comes in, clamshell if you're using one. And this will give you a nice clean look. So carb hats have been something that has been needed to have a lot of attention on the market lately. And again, another reason why we made that was for that purpose. Things that you think about is that, yeah, you can have a pancake style blow-through hat, but it doesn't allow you to really have any type of direction. You know, back in the day, they had a pressure box system where the carburetor actually sat in a box and it got pressurized. So that works too, but it's not as efficient and not as direct as what a carb hat was. So over the years of the development with the carb hats, different sizes, different shapes, different orifices, different entryways, different angles, all that was thought about when we built this hat to give you the best reliable performance that you could possibly have and allow you to have a really good distribution in fuel once it gets in the intake manifold. So if you guys have any questions about this hat, please feel free to call me. Be here at the shop, 727-967-0189. You can go on our Facebook page. You can go on our website, irdracing.com. You can go on our YouTube channel, kind of poke around and see a couple things there. This hat you will actually see in action at Fuel Tech's Dyno with our shop car, where we put out 3,100 horsepower at the axle at 38 pounds of boost. And we used our patented dual kneel and seat bowls and our patented Air Force X carb hat, and you can see it in action for yourself. So if you found this video to be informative and you'd like to see more of it, please like and subscribe, because we're only going to bring more to you. We're going to go down future videos of fuel pumps. We're going to talk more about intake manifolds, maybe some things about carburetors, because again, that's some proprietary bread and butter that we have, and just along with the other carb builders out there. We don't want to give those tricks away, but we definitely want to bring some things to you guys so that way you can instill some trust into us, and we'll help you move forward. So hopefully we'll see you guys at the races. Have a great day.